to our Sakata vegetable production series. Today we are talking seedlings, specifically how do I select a healthy seedling, make sure that what I'm getting from the nursery is actually a strong plant so that I can have a proper yield at the end of the day. Lolo, how are you doing?
Good on yourself.
No, good. Right, we are standing here amongst the seedlings, everything that you can imagine, more or less. What are the first things when I'm going to a nursery and they're selling me seedlings? How do I know I'm getting a healthy seedling?
Well, first and foremost, make sure the seeds are from Sakata.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's very important. And then secondly, go to nurseries that are reputable and well known. And when you do receive your seedlings, it is your responsibility to just take a look at your seedling and make sure that things are right. You don't see any spots or insects on there. The roots look healthy.
So what would constitute a healthy root system?
So the roots, you want them to be white. You don't want them to be black or browning. That's something you don't want to see. And then also, you don't want your roots to be shallow. Yeah. So you don't want.
So it needs to basically go through the whole tray, if I can put it like that.
That is correct.
When you pull it out, it needs to go through the whole tray.
That is correct.
The other thing is as well, if you look at this one, we've got a very tall one here and a short one. So this one is older than this one.
That's correct.
Is the age at all important?
That is yes, it is very important.
And just explain to me quickly, what could be the risks that you have when you plant a seedling that's too old, specifically in cabbage?
So if you can just see on the younger one, you can see where the head starts.
Yes.
It's low there, in comparison to this where the head is up here. So when it gets into the field, this has a tendency to then fall over.
And then it basically knocks like that.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm with you. And then at the end of the day, that doesn't develop into a proper cabbage.
It doesn't develop into a proper cabbage, that's correct.
Okay, and are there, so there's different ways that I look at different seeds. You were talking about something earlier about that middle leaf there.
Yes, so the middle leaf there, you don't want that to be damaged. If that is damaged, it's done with your cabbage. There's nothing you can do.
So I'm going to get a plant, but I'm not going to get a cabbage.
You're not going to get a cabbage.
So tomatoes, not flowering. Cabbage, that leaf needs to be good.
It needs to be good and intact.
With you. And how will that get damaged? Is it like when they basically work with the seedlings?
Yes, it could be in transit, it could be here in the nursery when they work with the seedlings. Sometimes if they are not well taken care of, things like aphids and insects can get in there and damage that inner leaf.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing, because here we've got two different seedlings. The one is if I remember this correctly, this is a Puma. And this is a Grand Slam.
Yes.
So, but what's the difference between them? Because they look exactly the same, but this one comes out of it's got a round tray, and this one's got a square tray. What's the difference here?
Well, besides the square and the round shapes there, it's the varieties which are different. Our Puma is our more baby to medium head cabbage, whereas our Grand Slam is our larger cabbage.
But when I'm getting them, I won't be able to tell the difference because they look exactly the same.
That's true, and that's why it's very important to always be in touch with your sales rep from where you're getting your seeds. In this case, me.
Yeah. But you will then give the seeds which I give to the nursery, and then they grow them out for me, ask me a bunch of money, and then I pay them and I get my seedlings back at the end of the day. Is that how it works, or you just provide the seed to the nursery and I just go and I buy the plants, but I make sure that I've got the right plants?
So two ways. The one way is that an individual could come to the nursery and request for cabbage, and then whatever cabbages they have there, the individual will say, no, I'm looking for large cabbage, and then they would, in this case, request that they get Grand Slam instead of the Puma. If they wanted the smaller cabbage, they'd go for the Puma. Or alternatively, you can speak with us directly at Sakata and ask us for a specific variety, and then we send it to the nursery, and then you collect that at the nursery.
I'm with you. But at the end of the day, it's very important to know what I want to plant and not just rock up and say, okay, I want cabbage. Because then I can maybe get red cabbage as well.
That's true.
and I didn't, well, maybe one year I get the market correct, but it's not going to happen all the time.
That's true.
The last thing that I want to know is in terms of watering, and when I go out into the nursery and look at how they've got overhead watering. At the end of the day, I know some people do drip and whatever the case might be, but how important is it in terms of water scheduling and so forth, what they do on the seedlings?
we were speaking behind the scenes about babies, and these are just like babies. They're very sensitive at this stage, so it's very important that they're well taken care of. One of those factors being watering. So in this case, there cannot be too much water applied on them. That's going to promote things like your diseases, and it's also going to promote things like your damping off. So you don't want too much watering in that case, but you also don't want too little watering. As much as cocoa peat does hold water for a long amount of time, you don't want to get it to a point where it's too dry.
I'm with you. So it's all about like getting it into the Goldilocks zone and basically keeping it there.
That's
so
correct.
Not too wet, not too dry, not too hot, not too cold. Just right.
Just right.
Awesome, Lolo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, so that's how you select healthy seedlings. Make sure that you've got a good relationship with your seedling provider and that you know what's going on. At the end of the day, it's a big capital outlay to go and plant vegetables, so that you can make sure when you transplant those seedlings that you at the end of the day reach the optimal yield. So that's it from this episode of our Sakata vegetable seed production whole series that we're doing. If you've got any comments, questions, comment them below, or if you've got any questions, you can get in contact with Sakata directly. We'll put a link up on top or below for you, depending on where you're watching. Till next time, cheers.